Good morning, evening, or afternoon, everybody. It's Kaghoe coming at you with another video. So today we are going to be doing our weekly numbers report. Now, these numbers are actually pretty shocking for most of the areas. Specifically, Anniversary is looking very grim compared to what it was with 2019 launch, but it is still quite healthy, and people are enjoying playing that, which is always good to see with Classic WoW. But before we get into the video, I just want to make sure people are aware for a big disclaimer. One is that these are just rating numbers, logged rating numbers. So if you do not do a raid, that is logged. You do not appear here. And two, that means people that are doing PvP, people that are just leveling, people that are questing, people that are taking it slow, people that are doing whatever they are doing are not represented on this graph. And I do not have any other population numbers to analyze to give you. Rating numbers is all I have. And I think rating numbers is a great use because it is the most dedicated players, the people that log in every single week to play World of Warcraft. Whether it's just raid logging or they're on, they still have to get all the consumables, farm the gold. They're playing the game the most active. So this is a look at the most active players that are grinding the game and where that population number stands. So without further ado, let's get into the numbers. Here we go. So we have the first graph right here. This is the Cataclysm population, and it goes all the way back to all 5 number values. So, or all 5 years of the classic World of Warcraft. And as we can see here, we start right here with Classic. This first break is where Classic becomes TBC. This probably averaged around 400 to 350,000 people. Nax really cut into those numbers, and AQ is where people kind of stopped playing as much. But I'd put this at about 300 to 350,000 average raiders through the entirety of Classic 2019 all the way until 2021 when TBC launched. Now, TBC was short, but it was sweet. So many people played it, and it probably was at 400k to 350,000 average for the entirety of TBC. Obviously, when we start to get to Wrath of the Lich King, we see a dip, but like this many people did Sunwell the week before it became Wrath of the Lich King, which is kind of crazy because when we look at the other examples here, like this many people did Nax, this many people were doing ICC, but here we have 200,000 people going into ICC, so that was just kind of incredible to see. Then we go into Wrath of the Lich King. Obviously, Wrath is the most popular expansion Blizzard has ever released. It peaked at 626,000, and this is the all-time peak for raiders on the Classic project in North America and EU, obviously. But still, 626,000 players raiding in Classic WoW is kind of crazy. Wrath pretty much averaged about 500,000 for the entirety of the expansion. Obviously, way up higher here, but then Old War hard modes came out, and we see a steady decline. And then we go into TOGC as well as ICC, sitting at about 400,000 players. And then once the buff came out, once people were bored of ICC, we start to see the rapid decline. And it got as low as 50k, but that was when we went into Cata, and like all the gear was kind of useless, changed around, didn't really matter. Then we go into Cataclysm here. The first week was at 209,000. The second week was about 300,000, and then it went into 317,000 players, which is really good and healthy for Cataclysm, on par with most of the other expansions. However, it did not hold that peak for more than 2 weeks, and ever since then it went straight down. This was at its lowest point, it was at 50,000. This was the patch before Firelands, but from here to Firelands probably regarded as the best raid in the Cataclysm expansion, at least from my experiences back in the day. I loved Firelands. On retail, I loved the mounts so much that I raided it so many times. I actually finally just got it like a few months ago when I went back to the War Within and did it. I finally got the Firelands mounts off of Rag and them, so that was pretty cool. But as we can see, it kept going here, and its current numbers is at 124,000, which is slightly down. It only lost about 3k people, but that is still good. It is holding at about 130 to 125k all of Firelands, which is great to see consistency, people playing there, people doing it. You love to see that number. Now, as the state of the server, I don't know. I got to 85, and I haven't really played Cata since. I just kind of did it on stream for a thing, but I really wasn't feeling Cata. Cata was like the first expansion that I personally dove into as a teenager. It was like my first real launch because I came in halfway through Wrath as a Wrath baby. but Cata was like the first one that I really dove into and played hella, so I took Cata off, and maybe we'll come back from Alp, who knows, but it's really healthy to see this. Next, we're going to switch it over to Season of Discovery and talk about these numbers. So right here is Phase 1, and this is the first drop off to Phase 2, this is the drop off to Phase 3, this is Phase 3 to Phase 4, and then they kind of blend together, but I do know exactly when they did. But Phase 1 peaked at almost 500,000 raiders. Now, a quick disclaimer is that you could start a new character and go to 1 to 25 and go into the raid that in those weeks, and like someone like me who was grinding every single class, getting all the runes, making those videos, I was able to literally do 8 BFDs, one of every class in this week. So like I personally count as 8 people in some of these graphs, and I know a few other people who did that as well, but generally speaking most people count to 1 to 2, and I think that is heavily reflected when we go into the next phase. So we drop off to Phase 2. This was an immense grind to go from 25 to 40 and do No Morgan in 1 week. A lot of people had tons of preparation and tons of blasting to do this, and as you can see, it took 2 weeks to really start to climb back up with Season of Discovery numbers. And as it was still climbing up until the point where this is where they announced Phase 3 was dropping, when Phase 2 was still climbing, and then you see a little fluctuation, and then you see a big fluctuation, and then you see Sunken Temple. Now, Sunken Temple was really, Phase 3 in general was really bad for a multitude of reasons. It was the first time we leaped from 10-man raids to 20-man raids, as well as Sunken Temple was pretty challenging as far as the content and the mechanics and raids, and just needing 20 people was a lot harder to do. So you needed, not only you went from 10 to 20, you needed 20 competent raiders to do the mechanics and learn and actually raid in there, and it was kind of a blunder. As well as incursions completely obliterated the world and economy. You pretty much sat in incursions all day, did incursion loops, as well as Cataclysm dropped sometime during this as well. So on top of that, there was just a lot of stuff to be doing and playing and going after. So it was just a big blunder, and SoD got down to 20,000 people right before Phase 4 launched. So Phase 3 was very, very sad. Then we go up here, Phase 4. This was the first week where we had Azurgos and Kazakh. I believe we didn't have Onyxian MC until this week, where it pretty much revived SoD. As you can see, it brought it back to almost 2 months before where it was at. It kept going. Phase 4 peaked at 88,000 players. Then right here is the dip before Phase 5, which got that 88k players as well. It kept going and going, and then this was the launch of AQ, which was quite bumpy, as well as we were approaching the holiday season. So this was Thanksgiving and AQ launch right here, and so you know those patches before launches are always a little tough. And then we kept going. This is obviously the holidays, so this is right before Christmas, and then this is Christmas week, so those obviously big Christmas dip, and then we start to see a steady incline back up to 69,000, which is pretty nice. But anyway, I'm anticipating Naxxramas to be popping. Phase 7 has been widely well received from what I have seen from everyone playing the game and coming back. So many people have joined my guild here on Crusader Strike, just new people that are homeless looking for a place to catch up, raid, and play Season of Discovery. I see we're averaging at peak hours like 5 to 6 layers every single night, and it is really awesome to see SoD start to pick it back up and people are playing the game again. We're certainly going to see in these coming weeks. Next week's population will still be will be this past week. See, we're at 121 to 127, so this will be 128 to 23. So it'll be right before Naxxramas. So I expect it not to be too high, and then it'll probably be around 69k or even lower for that right before phase launch dip that we always see. But I expect Naxxramas, and I would love to see Naxxramas get us back over that 100k mark. That would be my dream and hope. However, time will tell. SoD has had a consistent rating population since phase 4 launched of about 75,000 players to 80k the entire time. AQ obviously being a little tough with the launch as well as the holidays, but still pretty strong people playing SoD, and I love to see that. Next, let's talk about Era. So over here on Era, we see 10,000 players dedicated to doing it every single week. This has not changed. You saw this is where Anniversary came out, but it still pretty much has been the same of just people blasting all of it. This was Christmas dip for that, but still 10,000 to it's almost to 11K now, but just 11,000 people just still there. Pretty much this server exists from when it went from TBC to now, and just 10,000 players just pretty much doing the same thing, playing it at their end game and enjoying the game however they want to play it. This just isn't for me personally. However, you know, to each their own, and I love to see that. And I just always, someone asked me to start covering this, so I just started covering it to show you guys what was up. The next we have Anniversary. So as you can see, Anniversary has just consistently grown every single week. Between 5 to 10K on average is what it's been doing. It has like a 10K week, and then it has a 5K week, and then it has a 10K week. Here we went from about 62,000 to 68,000. So next week should be a 10K leap at about 78K. But what is very, very alarming is this number compared to where it was 5 years ago. That is the only data comparison we have. You know, if I had this for SoD, if I had this for Era, if I had any other comparison, I would do these two. This isn't me attacking Anniversary at all in any way. It is just numbers and comparisons. So when we look right here, we have 68,000. If we go over to here for the 7th week right here, this is at 204,000. So right now, Anniversary is sitting at 33% of the population that it had back then. And this is, like I said in the beginning of the video, this is a raiding population. These are the most dedicated people. So that begs the question, are people like tired of raiding Classic WoW? Are we Classic WoW fatigued? Those are the questions that go through my head. It's still nice to see that there are 68,000 people playing this. This is awesome. I'm glad people are enjoying Classic WoW. But when we have Hardcore, when we have SoD, we have Cata, we have Era, we have so many choices. Are people spread out? Would we be better off everyone just playing the same game? And those are the questions that I wonder. Like I said, this is not me attacking Anniversary. I want Classic WoW to succeed. I am a Classic WoW channel. While my main focus is SoD right now, I still make content for the other games that I do play. I did play Anniversary. I leveled all the way to 60. I gave it a try for 5 weeks. I just got bored of it because I just love SoD more. Like, I don't know, the classes, the growth, everything you can do in SoD is just more enjoyable for me personally. But that is my personal thing and what I enjoy. That does not take away from anyone who enjoys Anniversary. But seeing it at 33% is sounding alarm bells. People should be worried about this. And I don't have the answer for why. People like to comment and say COVID is the reason why. But we aren't even at COVID. COVID break did not start, at least here in Ohio. Like, it was shut down on March 15th, 2020. We are not even close to March 15th on this chart. We are at November 10th to 16th. So, like, we aren't even at the COVID spike where everyone's working from home. So that completely debunks that. And as I said, there could just be a lot of people overrating, and they're just chilling. They're just taking it slow. They're going to TBC. But anyway, that is the number report. These are the hard data facts. I am just drawing conclusions from the data that I have. So anyway, guys, I truly hope you enjoyed this video. If you disagree with me, leave your comments down below respectfully. If you insult me, yeah, I'm going to delete it. I don't really deal with negative attitudes or insulting like that. But if you want to have a nice civil adult conversation, definitely drop it down below and I will engage with those. So anyway, I truly hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, I'll see you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey you. Yes you. Are you still there? Well, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this entire video and making it to the end here. If you enjoyed this video, definitely check out the other videos about World of Warcraft listed in these playlists down below. And thank you again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.